The Tom Woods Show, episode 711.
Prepare to set fire to the index card of allowable opinion. Your daily dose of liberty education starts here. The Tom Woods Show.
If you're a homeschooling parent and you're tired of running yourself ragged, then check out the self-taught Ron Paul curriculum. And check it out through my special link where you get 3 free bonuses totaling $160. My special link? ronpaulhomeschool.com. Hey everybody, it's almost that time. Bob Murphy and I are putting on the event of the year. It's the Contra Cruise, setting sail in October 2016. We've got game show style games in store for you. We got music and karaoke. We got great fellowship sessions, a live recording of the current episode of Contra Krugman, and much more. So check it out at contracruise.com. Hi everybody, Tom Woods here. Julie Borowski's with us today. I was able to get Julie today, so I decided that episode I told you about where I want to talk about government science funding and technology and stuff like that. I'm going to do that a little bit later in the week because I want to talk to Julie, who is on the verge of 200,000 Facebook likes, who's been tremendously successful. She is a popular libertarian speaker, writer, video creator, all-around content creator, and she's been very successful at it as a freelancer, which she has been for, well, a little while now, and she's doing just great. She's also a popular public speaker. She really does all these sorts of things in terms of content production, and she produces stuff on a very regular basis, which I think helps to account for her success. She's reliable. You can depend on her to keep on producing good quality stuff. So we're going to be talking today about that success and how she's done it, but also about different aspects of the libertarian message, because she's gotten pretty good at spreading that message and talking to more people who are, outside our orbit, but bringing them into our orbit. Later in the conversation, we'll talk about all the different ways you can follow what she produces. She has a website. She's on Facebook as Julie Borowski, Twitter, Julie Borowski, YouTube channel. You can find her there. I'm going to link to all these things and her website at tomwoods.com/711. All right, Julie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me.
You were on the show back on episode 70. And here we are on, I think, episode 711. So,
oh wow,
yeah. Every 600 or 700 episodes or so, we have to catch up. I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been so long. So, it's been now a couple of years. I mean, I started the show in late 2013, and I think was that around the time that you were no longer with FreedomWorks full time? When did that happen?
So I left FreedomWorks in April 2015, so a little bit afterwards.
Oh, it was after that. Okay, so you were still... Okay, so, all right, so things have changed for you since we last spoke. Maybe you can start off by talking about that. What's it been like not being with, an official think tank or policy institute, but being completely on your own, promoting these ideas? Is it good? Is it bad? Middle of the road? What do you think?
Sure. So like I said, I left FreedomWorks in 2015. It was nothing against them. I just kind of felt that, maybe I should do this on my own, become a freelancer. I'm young, so I thought, well, let's give it a chance and see how it works. It's been both good. I have a lot of flexibility. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. I don't have to worry about any, restrictions. It's also been hard. I've learned a lot about myself, as cheesy as that sounds, over the past year and what I need to work on. I'm really bad at negotiation. I'm really bad at asking for money. The good thing about working for an organization I found is that somebody does that for you. Somebody deals with all that awkwardness. So I've learned, okay, I have to be somewhat assertive and asking for stuff and getting help. So, it's both good and bad.
Well, I'm in somewhat the same position you are, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But now that I've settled into it and you're settling into it, if you can make it work, which is the big if, it's a great kind of lifestyle, really, I think. Now, I do want to talk about what you've been doing, and in fact, as I told you before we went on, I actually went to my private Facebook group, which is for my supporters, and I said, I think I'm going to have Julie back on. What do you folks think I should ask her? And man, they're better than I am. They really, I don't have to do any work anymore. They come up with these great ideas. So I want to run some of these by you and see what you think. So,
sure.
For instance, apparently you have been doing some, you might describe outreach to Bernie Sanders people, and people are curious to know how that's gone and what sorts of things you've done.
So, gosh, Bernie Sanders supporters. I recently made a video kind of sympathizing with Bernie supporters. I've been not so nice to them in the past. I did an anti-Bernie video one time and they got really, really mad at me. So I was like, okay, this was right after Bernie endorsed Hillary. I made this video sympathizing with them and saying, you know, I kind of feel bad for you guys. Like, I almost saw myself in them with Bernie Sanders. You know, not that I agree with Bernie Sanders on a lot of issues, but I saw how passionate they were about Bernie Sanders, and I saw myself in them with Ron Paul about how I believed in this guy. And fortunately, Ron Paul never endorsed the nominee, but Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary, and I saw how upset they were and how disappointed they were. So I kind of made this video sympathizing with them and say, you know, guys, I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry about this. And, you know, I thought, if I sympathize with them, maybe they'll listen to me more and realize that I'm not such a bad person, that we do have some things in common. We're both against the Federal Reserve. We're for civil liberties. We're against these wars. So, I mean, I've gotten a lot of hate from them, but I think some people have come to kind of respect me after that video, to realize that I'm not just this conservative who bashes Bernie supporters, that I actually sympathize with them sometimes.
I was not surprised when he endorsed her, because I knew from the beginning he would, but I could imagine, as you say, how completely disorienting it must have been for his diehard supporters, because I'm sure they thought it was impossible. In fact, Paul Krugman wrote a column saying there's no way Bernie's ever going to support Hillary. And of course, as soon as Paul Krugman said that, I thought, well, now it's really obvious he's going to support Hillary. So I mean, of course, since Ron Paul never did that to us, I can't imagine the depth of the despair. But
I would be so pissed off if Ron Paul did
exactly.
that.
That's right. So it's neat that you went ahead and made that video. All right, let's see. When you make videos like this, when you're out in the public eye at all, you do attract people who, as you have learned, don't really care for what you're saying. And the internet is not known for being a place where people say, "Dear sir or madam, I have read your article and I have decided." It's pretty rough and brutal, and I have people wondering, how did you manage to cope with that or grow a thick skin?
Sure. So I started making videos in 2011, and to be honest, I was really intimidated by making these videos. Like, I was completely out of my comfort zone to put myself out there online. Some people think I'm this really outgoing person, but I'm not. Like, it was like really scary for me. And at first I saw all these comments, and of course, as a woman, you're going to get a lot of attacks on your look, and of course my voice is always criticized and stuff like that. And I think at first it kind of it affected me a little bit, just because I wasn't used to hearing those comments. Like, in my everyday life, people are generally nice to me. No one's really brutally honest to me. So it was shocking to me at first. And then you keep hearing the same comments over and over throughout the years online. It comes to a point where you just brush it off because you're so used to it. It doesn't affect you anymore. And there are people who are saying nice things to you. So I try to really hard just focus on the positive and just, let the haters hate.
I think that's a smart approach. And I will note, by the way, eventually I took that approach. But at first, I used to feel like I had to go to every blog anywhere on the internet that mentioned me and stand up for my good name. And I'll tell you, I sleep so soundly at night, not caring anymore about any of that. I want to know, I've seen these people, and I want to know if you've ever said anything about, or what your opinions are about, Julie Borowski Army on Facebook.
Oh, yes. I had nothing to do with this. I did not make this page, but somebody made this page, Julie Borowski Army, and they just basically photoshopped me and crazy things like Audrey Hepburn. That's my profile pic on Facebook right now, and just Princess Diana, like all these people. So it's funny to me. But like you said about the haters, the funniest thing to me is when I see somebody attack me on another thread where they don't think I see. Just somebody like a Facebook friend posts my video and somebody below says, "Oh, I hate her. She's the worst." I love to comment on those things just to say, oh, hey, what's up? Something like that. And their attitude completely changes. They say, oh, I'm sorry, Julie, I actually like your videos. So it's kind of funny when you actually confront people, they just change their attitude completely.
What has been, of all the issues you've discussed, what's the one that you've found the most frustrating? You're having the least success reaching people or persuading people, getting through to your viewers. Is there one?
Oh, let me think about that for a second. Oh.
Well, how about this? I'll let you spin that around in your mind a little bit while I ask you a somewhat related question, which is, in your opinion, what are some of the biggest problem areas in libertarianism? Let's say unresolved issues or issues where you feel like the libertarian answer just isn't even all that convincing to you. Are there any of those that you can think of?
I think libertarianism is pretty weak on the subject of children. Somebody asked me today, should a parent be allowed to starve their child? And it's really hard because just as a human being, just common sense, I just say no. Of course not. Why would you do that? But then libertarianism, like there's not this strong argument against that, because if libertarianism is just the non-aggression principle, are you aggressing upon your child by not feeding them? It's a hard question. So on the children's issues, libertarianism, I think, still has a lot of work to do, as well as animals. I'm a huge animal lover. I'm involved in animal rescue. And the things I've seen people do to animals is just horrible. You know, there's animal hoarders out there. There's dog fighting, just terrible, terrible things. And when I talk about this to libertarians, some of them say, well, that's their right. These pets are their property. They should be able to do whatever they want. And I just, maybe, I'm being too emotional or whatever, but it's just like, no, like it bothers me so much. So yeah, children and animals, I think that libertarianism still has some work to do.
Okay, those are great answers. I really need to do an episode pertaining to children. There's one guest I really want to have on, and he just won't do it, and it's driving me crazy. But there are some decent libertarian answers to that whole question of, is the only libertarian position that it would be aggression against the parent to force the parent to feed the child? I don't think that is, but I can see how people would, and that makes us all seem crazy. And then the other thing about animals, I don't think it's a question of you're being emotional. I've had the same concern, and I think of myself as being, Mr. Reason and all that. But I had Gary Chartier on. He might be somebody you'd be interested in talking to. He's an anarchist, and he thinks that there's room in the whole, in the libertarian way of looking at the world for some kind of protection of animals. So he's definitely worth talking to. And I have a daughter, 13 years old, who, for her birthday last year, instead of gifts, she wanted people to donate to the local animal shelter. I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So she loves libertarianism too, but I think she kind of feels like there's not a really good, convincing answer on that. Now, by the way, people listening to this, if you feel like you have got a good, convincing answer to these, then post it on your blog and send me the link. Don't just send me your commentary. I want you to have a blog, write it on your blog, and send me the link, and we'll talk about it on the show. All right, let's see. What else? We've talked about the Julie Borowski Army. I think that's just super. When you're looking at all the things that you've done, you worked for Freedom Works, you've done speaking engagements, you've made a lot of videos, you have a tremendous social media presence. Where do you think you've had the biggest impact?
The biggest impact I think I've had is reaching out to conservatives. If you go on my Facebook page, a lot of people complain that there's a lot of conservatives on there. And this is true, but I like them to be there because at least they're hearing another argument, right? So I grew up a conservative. I think we talked about it last time. And I kind of understand their mindset. I know what arguments works on them to bring them over to the libertarian side. And I've had success with them because I've made a couple somewhat viral videos that were anti-Obama, which really brought the conservatives on board because they love to see a young person bashing Obama, right? It doesn't matter what I say, as long as I'm anti-Obama, they're like, okay, this chick's cool, right? So they're on my Facebook page, and I think I've somewhat convinced them to be on libertarian side. So yeah, I would say that's probably been where I've been the most successful at reaching those people.
I just the other day had one of the admins from a Facebook page called Liberty Memes,
Yeah.
and he doesn't reveal his name. I just referred to him as Admin 2 on the show. And he was saying that he's had a lot of the same type of success, but that then once they're on the page, if he then makes memes pertaining to foreign policy or the police, these very same people are up in arms. Have you had any kind of experience like that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Some of these people assume that I'm a conservative, and then when I post about foreign policy, when I post about those types of things, they get mad at me. But I think they at least know where I'm coming from, that I at least am not a liberal, and they're really excited to see a young woman who's anti-Hillary and who's not a liberal. So hopefully they stay around.
Yeah, all right. So they're willing to cut you some slack because you do meet other requirements. And
Yeah.
you know, a lot of times people think of the anti-Obama constituency as being older, or they're old white men or whatever, and you are neither of those things. So that gives you some leeway. All right, tell me about and I hope this doesn't make you uncomfortable. If it does, this is a case where I would actually let the guest off the hook. But if you can possibly stand answering it, I'd really like to know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Where's he going? It's this. Now, on the one hand, obviously you love this stuff. I mean, you have a job, so-called, you know, like me, that you might well do regardless of whether you earned a living from it or not. You just love doing it.
Yeah.
And it's a nice bonus that you're able to give a talk and get a speaking fee and things like that. So that's just a terrific thing. My question is, I want to know about monetizing what you're doing online, because you've got a tremendous Facebook presence. You have videos that are very widely viewed. Is the monetizing side of that just, well, if the more videos I make and the more present I am on social media, the more prominent I'll be, and therefore the more speaking engagements I'll get, and that's how I monetize it? Or do you have other ways? I mean, there's no shame in supporting yourself. Any libertarian who gives you guff about supporting yourself should be ignored anyway. But I'm curious about, are there ways that you can monetize what you're doing?
It's really strange to me when I see libertarians criticize me for making money. It's just like, aren't you supposed to be pro-capitalism? And I guess they assume if I'm making some money on it, that I'm only in it for the money.
Yeah.
If I was only in it for the money, I would not choose to be a libertarian activist.
Yeah, I know. Hello.
I mean, I went to college. I'm sure that I could get a job that I wouldn't like as much, but I could make a lot more money than I'm making. I do this job because I love it first and foremost, but it does pay the bills. Does it, would I like to make more money? Yes, because I would like to, raise my standard of living, because I'm, freelancer, and I'm just trying to learn how to make money on the internet. So I do make money on my YouTube videos through ad revenue. It's nothing crazy. It's, not even half my rent. Because I think you have to have like millions and millions of views to actually make a lot of money on YouTube. So, yeah, it's my YouTube videos as well as speaking engagements. I'm getting a lot more. So if you ever want me to speak on your college or at a meeting, please email me. It's julie@julieborowski.com. I'm also learning about other ways to monetize. Merchandise is a way. I'm learning how to do that. I'm also taking donations. I have a PayPal donation on my website. So things like that. I'm always open to new ideas because I'm still learning how to do this myself.
I wonder if you could say to people, if you make a recurring donation of $5 or $10 a month, you get the following benefits. And one of them would be you could do some kind of like an intimate video chat with your biggest supporters. And they can just throw questions. Oh, do you?
Yeah, so I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Julie Borowski, and we have a private Facebook group. I do monthly live streams. Sometimes I release a video early to them, so those kinds of benefits, yeah.
That is smart. Oh, I'm so glad you're doing that, because that's good, because a lot of times I make suggestions like this, and it hits people like a thunderbolt. That's good, too. But I'm glad that you're sort of already on top of things. All right, good. Now, I mean, to me, I look at this and I find it miraculous I can do a podcast, period. The technology of this amazes me, that I have it out there and then boom, instantaneously, somebody halfway around the world can be listening. And I can look at my statistics and see, 140 countries have people who listen to the show regularly. This is amazing to me. But then also to be able to find ways that I can do this and not have to, not that I would work at McDonald's, but you get the point, that I can devote the time and the care necessary to make it a decent thing because people want to support it. And we find ways to make this work, to bring people together, people who want to support it, people who want to do the production. This is an incredible time to be alive, if I may be, super sappy about it.
Definitely.
All right, let me look and see what else I can run. But see if I can stump you with one here.
Uh-oh.
All right, all right. Let's see. All right, I got this one. I'm not totally sure what it's driving at, to be honest with you. But that's your job as the guest. You figure out what the question is. I don't know what it is. What is her long-term strategy for staying active in the liberty movement? I wonder how I would answer that question. How would you answer that question?
My long-term strategy, I kind of feel like I'm at a job interview right now.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm releasing a new video at least every Thursday, so that's my video upload day. Just stay active, keep doing what I'm doing. I think it's just about more people being exposed to me and my videos. So if I keep making more videos, if I keep making more speaking engagements, I continue the stupid jokes on Facebook and Twitter, hopefully more people will find out about me and I can continue doing this.
What do you find generates the most buzz on Facebook? I mean, when you ask your followers a question, when you post a video, when you link to an article, or is there a particular topic? How do you, when you're posting something, can you say to yourself, oh, I know this is just going to go crazy with comments?
Yeah, it seems like the most stupid things that I post get the most views. And the actually deep, intelligent, somewhat things that I post don't get those views.
Oh, no.
But what I found is a lot of people on my page don't get my satire. So I'll post something that's clearly satire, or I think should be clearly satire, and people will share it not knowing it's satire, or they'll comment on it and say this is satire and somebody won't get it and it goes crazy. I had that happen to me where I posted this meme about guns and it said the AR-15 shoots 1,000 rounds per second, that type of kind of gun scary thing, and it got 10 million into the philosophy. So I think there is a lot of opportunity to reach new people who otherwise wouldn't care.
When you do get invited for speaking engagements, what are topics you like to discuss?
So it depends on the speaking engagement. I've been doing some college speaking, and I like to just do things like, what is